Native American flute music, Tribal 4B Guide navigating Federal Child Welfare Services funding from the Children's Bureau title page, and Children's Bureau logo.
Welcome to the overview of the Title 4B grant funding life cycle.
Tribal 4B Guide cover image, piece of lined paper with text, Title 4B grant life cycle, coffee cup.
In Section 10 of the guide, we explain the funding life cycle from submitting the initial application to receiving the approval letter and the notice of award, through spending the funding and ultimately closing out the Title 4B grants.
Words matching narration appear on screen. Section 10, Tribal 4B funding life cycle appear on screen. Blue, green, orange, and red rectangles with icons. Icon of piece of paper, initial application. Icon of piece of paper with ribbon, approval letter and notice of award. Icon of hand holding money, spending the funding. Icon of circle with money sign, closing the grant.
There are 5 important key points and dates to remember in the Title 4B grant funding life cycle.
Snowy winter scene. Narrator appears on screen wearing a winter coat and hat and walks off screen to the right.
And this video will highlight those.
Spring scene with green trees, grass, a budding pink tree, and bushes. Narrator wearing a short-sleeved shirt walks left to right.
To help you understand the flow of the Title 4B grant funding life cycle, we'll walk through the seasons of the year together.
Beach with palm trees. Narrator in a short-sleeved shirt with flowers and a hat walks from left to right.
Highlighting the important dates in each season as we go.
Fall scene with orange, red, and yellow trees. Narrator in a red sweatshirt and pants.
The first date to be aware of is late winter and early spring, because the Children's Bureau issues a program instruction.
Spring scene with green trees, grass, a budding pink tree, and bushes. Narrator walks on screen. Circle with text. The first date to be aware of is late winter and early spring, because the Children's Bureau issues a program instruction.
The program instruction announces the requirements that federally recognized tribes must meet to qualify for Title 4B grant funding. Tribes will receive additional support from the regional offices through convenings that explain the application and submission process.
Graphic representing the grant funding life cycle. Zoom in on first year.
Tribes may request consultation and assistance from their regional office at any time. The Children's Bureau funds Title 4B grants in 5-year blocks of time.
Text. Title 4B Child and Family Services Plan, CFSP, and Annual Progress and Services Report, APSR, grant cycle. 5 circles labeled Year 1, Year 2, Year 3, Year 4, and Year 5.
The initial Title 4B grant application within the 5-year time frame is called the Child and Family Services Plan and is commonly referred to as the CFSP.
Text slides up off screen. Blue rectangle with the text. Child and Family Services Plan, CFSP, connected to Year 1 with moving dotted line.
To maintain funding, each subsequent year, the tribe completes an annual progress and services report, commonly referred to as an APSR.
Text. Annual Progress and Services Report, APSR, appears over each year as narrator reads.
When a Title 4B grant application is approved, it opens the door to receiving the next year's funding. Each annual Title 4B grant award is available to spend for 2 years.
Horizontal moving dotted line spanning Year 1 to Year 5.
Creating a cycle of overlap that continues as the 5-year CFSP cycle progresses. For detailed information about the application process, please refer to sections 4 through 9 of the guide.
Narrator appears. Blue circle with text. Refer to sections 4 through 9 of the guide.
The second key date to remember is June 30th, because the CFSP and APSR are always due on June 30th.
Beach scene with palm trees. Narrator in shorts, flower shirt, and hat walks. Blue circle with text. The second key date to remember is June 30th, because the CFSP and APSR are always due on June 30th.
Once the appropriate plan is submitted, the Children's Bureau will review and continue to work with the tribe to clarify and gather any missing information needed for funding approval.
Office scene. Man sitting at a desk in front of a computer talks on the phone. Children's Bureau logo on wall behind.
If the tribe is approved to receive Title 4B funding, the Children's Bureau will send an approval letter in the fall.
Grant cycle graphic.
While the federal fiscal year begins in October, the notice of award releasing the Title 4B grant funds to the tribe is usually issued in the spring. That means, even though funds may not be issued until approximately 6 months after the federal fiscal year begins, the tribe can use grant funds to pay back any Title 4B grant expenditures they made as far back as October 1st.
Computer screen with image of a general ledger.
A tribe has 2 years to spend each annual Title 4B grant award. The expenditure period starts on October 1st. For example, for a fiscal year 2023 grant, the federal fiscal year spans the 12 months from October 1st, 2022 through September 30th, 2023.
Graphic shows funding overlap. Circles with October 1st, 2020, October 1st, 2021, September 30th / October 1st, 2022, September 30th, 2023, and September 30th, 2024. Funding overlap line over October 1st, 2021 to September 30th / October 1st, 2022. Funding overlap line over September 30th / October 1st, 2022 to September 30th, 2023.
However, the tribe can spend these funds for 24 months, from October 1st, 2022 through September 30th, 2024. All tribes are required to submit annual year-end financial reporting for Title 4B grants.
Woman in office with a folder stands in front of a desk. Computer screen with form.
These reports are called the SF425 reports.
Computer screen with form. Zoom in on form.
The SF425 is used to report cumulative expenses incurred under each grant award and is required of all federal grant recipients. So, the third key date to remember is December 30th, because the tribe must submit the SF425 report.
Winter scene. Narrator walks in from left. Circle with text. The third key date to remember is December 30th because the tribe must submit the SF425 report.
This report is always due no later than 90 days after the end of each 12-month budget period, which would be December 30th.
Circle text changes. This report is always due no later than 90 days after the end of each 12-month budget period, which would be December 30th.
At the end of the first year of the 2-year grant expenditure period, an interim SF425 report must be submitted for the first year's expenses.
Grant cycle graphic.
The fourth and fifth final key dates to remember are obligation and liquidation dates. The obligation date is September 30th.
Title: Obligation and liquidation dates. Narrator on screen. Text on screen. Obligation September 30th. At the end of the second year, by September 30th, tribes must have all Title 4B grant funds for the award year obligated.
At the end of the second year, by September 30th, tribes must have all Title 4B grant funds for that year obligated. An obligation is generally a written intent to purchase items, such as through a purchase order or invoice. Tribes can make no new purchases from this grant after this date. The liquidation date is December 30th.
Text appears on screen. Liquidation, December 30th. At the end of the second and final year of the grant, all Title 4B grant funds must be liquidated.
By December 30th of the second and final year of the grant, all Title 4B grant funds must be liquidated, meaning all the bills incurred for that grant year have been paid in full. The grant expenditure period has closed, and no additional expenses can be paid after this date. The grant is officially and formally closed when the tribe submits a final SF425 report,
Circle with closed pops up on screen.
which is due by December 30th of the second year of the grant.
Grant cycle graphic.
Here is a summary of the 5 important dates for the Title 4B grant funding life cycle. In late winter, the program instruction for the next year's funding is released. On June 30th, the CFSP or the APSR is due. September 30th ends the obligation period. December 30th ends the liquidation period. December 30th, the interim and final SF 425 reports are due.
Narrator on screen. Text. 5 important dates. 1. In late winter, program instruction released. 2. On June 30th, the CFSP or the APSR is due. 3. September 30th ends the obligation period. 4. December 30th ends the liquidation period. 5. December 30th, the interim and final SF 425 reports are due. Native American flute music. Narrator and text. Special thanks to Keith Agawa, member of the Lummi Indian Nation. Children's Bureau logo and text, and the Children's Bureau Tribal Work Group.